All right. Looks like everyone's starting to join in. We appreciate those who have taken time out of your day to come spend a few minutes with us and learn about our new app, the NowTech Manatech app. Just going to give it a couple of minutes here to allow people to join. We also have a special guest on today's call. And as we had mentioned last time, and Al had mentioned a couple of times before, that we're going to have the developers of the app join us today. And they've offered to join us a couple of times each month. And so as soon as Preston shows up, we do have Preston Hurd of the NowTech app, who will be here to provide training as we get started and engaged with the first steps of being able to use the app. Hopefully we'll go through some sharing. Those have been some of the first questions that we've received is we've gotten hopefully the app onto your phone, or you've been able to access it through your back office. But if you haven't yet gotten into and accessed the NowTech app, I would encourage you to go either to the digital tool suite in your back office and to use those links to download the app onto your phone. You can also use the link that's there in your digital tool suite, or if it makes sense, there's a quick link inside of your manatech.com login with your back office that says NowTech, and you can access the desktop platform by clicking that NowTech hyperlink as well. But if you haven't been able to get the app onto your phone, that you're needing a little bit more instruction to do so, if you go to manatechtraining.com, there is a category titled courses. And inside of that courses, you'll see that there is a NowTech tutorials or training. I can't remember exactly the title, but when you click on that, there is a short video on how to get the app onto your phone. And just did a quick video this morning as well that shows you how to share your first resource through the app. I am looking for Preston. There he is. As I mentioned, Preston Hurd will be leading out today's presentation. Looks like he's getting his computer set up there so that he can share. There he is.
There we go. I'm shuffling around today. We're all in a shared space at work, so I was moving one thing to another.
So Preston is with NowTech. He is my go-between, so he's been my right-hand man in being able to get everything set up, and he is helping with the future of the app as well, so he knows where it can head as well, so that there's several different feature sets that are not in the app today. As I mentioned on our earlier call from last week, we're starting with some of the basics of the app, and we're hoping to get you engaged in being able to share media as the first step. And so that really is the focus. We've been able to open up the portal that allows you to use it as a contact relationship manager, a CRM, so that you can have your contacts and your customers and associates that are inside of the app, that you'll be able to reach out to them with media resources that Manatech adds to the app. That is going to be the first step to being able to leverage the app for success, being able to share exposures of the business, and then to be able to see when somebody has clicked on that resource so that you know that the timing is right to be able to follow up. But Preston and I didn't have a chance to touch base before, but I'm happy to turn it over to you, or I can give you some of the topics that I was thinking that we could cover today would be the sharing of resources. So we talked about last week how to add someone as a contact, but I think if we can now move to the next step of engaging with the app, that'd be great in sharing.
Sure, that sounds great. Before we dive in, I want to respond to Peggy's question. So yes, the app will work on all iPads. We suggest that if you're using a tablet on any iPad, I would use the browser version. It's a little more responsive. It'll fit and scale to your screen a little bit nicer. The app itself is designed for the phone kind of portrait style layout. So if you're using a tablet and you prefer to hold it landscape, it will be more dynamic. It will be more responsive and easier to kind of navigate using the browser version. That link is also accessible through the same path that Ben just went over a moment ago. But you should be able to use the app on all devices. With that, we have a new version of the app submitted for approval right now. So here within the next 48 hours, it takes Apple and Android a couple of days to review and approve things. You should get a notification on all of your device apps, letting you know that there's a new update. It'll update for you automatically. Then you'll log back in with the same credentials you've been using. If you are using the browser login, like I just mentioned, that is all handled for you. You won't have to upload or download anything. It's all done automatic. The app is available in the UK, Lisa, so you should be able to access it pretty much anywhere on the planet. We've got many, many languages. I forget off the top of my head how many right now. So as you log in, particularly if you are international, and find anything where there are kind of missing content libraries, let Ben and I know. If you find any odd translations, let us know. We can go in and get those corrected for you. The update number off the top of my head should be version. Yeah, I got our demo in. Let me check. So let's see here. I might be 1 or 2 patches behind, but we should be in version 09. So when you check the version, which you can do by going to your profile in the app, at the very bottom, it will say 9.2309. Some number. That will all update automatically for you once the app is approved through both stores. Again, they usually take 1 to 3 days. So we've submitted it. That will kind of flow through once they approve it. It'll let you know there's an update. You'll click a yes button, and then it'll do that for you. And it will require you to log back in. But again, those are the same credentials you've been using, the same ones you use for the back office. With that, we can dive into sharing. Ben, I don't know if you want to share the app and I can share the web browser, or if we can just talk through and do kind of a roundtable Q&A. I can lead from the browser, but I'm here to support.
Yeah, it sounds great. So I like what you're suggesting. We can go through, I'll pull open the browser, you pull open the mobile app, and let's go through how to share a resource through the app. And if you want to put questions in the chat, let's we can use that to be able to filter up.
Give me just a moment to get my phone logged in here. Gotta pull up the meeting ID. It's everything moves as slow as molasses the second I use.
So I have the desktop pulled up.
Oh,
we could start there as well.
Yeah. If you want to share your screen from the desktop, I'll get myself logged in here.
Okay.
So again, this is going to be the browser view. Ben, it looks like you're in one of the legacy accounts. So everyone else should be seeing some kind of banner. Ben and I are testing a couple of legacy accounts, which is actually a very good point. If anybody else today is logging in and not seeing banners show up at the top, if your screen looks like Ben's, will you please submit a ticket for us? We've got a couple of gremlins in some of the accounts and some of the tree structures that we're working on. We had a lengthy call Friday afternoon, both us and Manatech. Ben and I were there listening to a bunch of devs say things we didn't really understand, but we are aware of a handful of bugs. As you find things that feel odd or look odd, please submit a ticket. We just reviewed some this morning. Those go into the very next patch. We tend to get hot fixes like this done every 2 weeks. So unless it's an emergency, obviously that will be done as quickly as possible. But we are actively chasing down a few things. So if you are seeing anything unusual, please let us know. The more data we have, the faster it is for us to fix it. So in your media section here that Ben has navigated to, this is going to be all of the content that has been added to the app for you to access. Yeah, if you want to click on that, for those of you who are international, you've got the ability to filter between country and language. So we've got content for all of those countries. And for the US, we've got content in English and in Spanish. So as you kind of navigate around, if you see something here in the English for US that you don't see in perhaps the UK US, or that you're missing, again, let us know. We're getting stuff in there as quickly as we can.
And to be able to let us know, this is the pathway you'd go about doing that. You click on the little hamburger here on the top left, you click view profile. And if it's a technical question, there's a pathway to be able to send technical questions versus marketing requests. So it's just the get help and technical questions here. And then also, I'm not sure, do you know exactly who the call goes to?
That should go to, I think that is just the general support line.
Okay, sounds good.
We can confirm.
So,
yeah.
Marketing resources that you want added to the app, if you'll email marketing@mannatech.com, that is the best place to get resources reviewed by the country manager to make sure that those are the proper resources to put in. So we're not just putting everything into the app. So if you can make a request, we'll get the sign off from your country manager, and then we'll get that put into the app for your market and in the right language. Sorry, I'll go back to the screen for sharing.
Okay.
Progress.
There. So my phone is ready. We can switch to that once I get myself all muted. All right, so if we want to pick a piece of content to share, probably not these first couple ones.
Okay.
But let's say for this example, we want to share any of these documents with a prospect or a lead that we've got in our app. So let's pick one there, the Mannatech opportunity. This is a video. So I'm going to click on this and it'll ask me, how do I want to share this? You'll notice you've got three options. The first one is an individual. If I've been talking to someone either right now or earlier this morning or whenever, and I'm like, oh, I need to go share that with Ben, right? I can click on individual here. And then it's going to say, hey, is Ben already in your device or is he not? If he is, I can click on existing prospects and he'll already be here. If he's not, I'll click to add a new prospect and I can either do it manually here, or when you're on your device, you'll have the ability to pull up your device contacts and add those. Ben's on the browser, so we haven't got that here. But when you're adding a manual person, it'll just be first name, last name, phone number, and email. So if we've got that and we add it, you'll have to check this first box up here that Ben just circled. This is acknowledging that you've got consent to send this person information. This is important as the FTC has kind of started paying more attention, particularly to text messages. Emails tend to be a little more lenient, but if you're going to text somebody information, you're going to send them a lot of content. Please ensure that they're aware of that. Check that box. It keeps everybody make sure we're all playing by the rules. So I've got a new contact. I've added Ben. I've added his email and his phone. I've also got the ability to share things to him via Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, Telegram. I can go into his account here in a bit. We'll do that. And I can add maybe some Instagram information. But let's stick with email for now. So let's say I want to email him this video to watch. So we're going to click on email, click continue. It's going to give me a preview. Hey, here's what you're sending him. It's going to show me the kind of preloaded message. So there's a blank spot there that says your message here. And then it's going to show you kind of your signature and the link that he can click on to view that video. That link will also include your attribution. That way we can track if you're having any challenges. If you're like, hey, I'm sending this, we can go run reports and we can see for you. We can help you troubleshoot if you're sure that you've sent some stuff and people aren't saying they're receiving it. This is just kind of a way for us to go in there and track both that attribution and the sending to help make sure everything's working as intended. So we're going to click that share button, and the share button should preload an email for you in your email tab. There we go.
So, oh, and that's the key. It opened up my email, so it is not sending through the Nowtech platform. It opened up my email account that I have here at Manatech and populated in with that preview that we just saw.
Correct. And this is important for both email and particularly text messages, because what it does is it lets you send all this preloaded content directly from your typical communication paths. And that way, if they're used to receiving text messages from you, it will still come from you. If it's coming from your email address, it comes from your email address. It doesn't come from a Manatech email address on behalf of you. That way they stick with what they're used to. They know you, they want to talk to you, and you keep that personal connection even in kind of your mode of communication. So now we can go in, we can add kind of a message, we can personalize it, and then we just hit send. And then we've sent it. So now if Ben goes and watches that video, he should get a notification here shortly. It can take a couple of minutes, but you'll get a notification when someone clicks that video. Same with whenever they open or view a PDF you've shared. And if they've kind of viewed any of the content you've sent them.
So this hopefully will trigger that alert. So if I start watching some of it. And now if I go back to my app.
You hit refresh.
Refresh, yep.
It might take a little bit of time.
But we'll see it before we conclude today's call. You'll see that highlights with an alert that I've watched the media.
Mark, yeah, so you can pre-write the email content. Right now, the way media is stored within your library is corporate can also pre-write and provide kind of blocks of text for specific things. I know Ben's done a couple of them for products. So let's say you want to share a product-specific PDF or a product-specific video. He's gone in and added just a little bit of context so that you don't have to retype everything. You can kind of store a preset of messages. I would say it's easiest to kind of do those outside of the app because you're already copying and pasting effectively into your native email platform or your text. Excuse me. We have a handful of other accounts whose users kind of keep their own pre-done stuff. And then that way they can mix and match and kind of add some variability without having to redo everything themselves. Manatech users have the advantage of using this new kind of AI tool that I think is super cool. This is all Ben and his team, but this is effectively the Manatech brain. So they've done a great job of putting tons of content in there, and you can ask it to either help you craft the message, or you can ask it for a quick paragraph or a blurb on a specific product, and it will go scan all of that Manatech specific content they've added and create a quick message for you. It's actually super cool. And right now, this is kind of managed as a quick link you can get here from the app, but it does take you outside of the app to use this browser. In a future date here in the next, I'm hoping in the next month or two, we can actually have this framed within the app so you don't even have to leave it. It just pulls up a tab within the app. You can grab this. And then this summer, we'll have a full integration to where you can be in the app in that share sequence. And when you click the preview message, you can click on the generate with AI, and it will create for you 5 options, 5 choices. You can say, oh, I like this one best. And then you can choose to modify that choice, or you can just send that choice directly, and you'll be able to hit send. So this is kind of our first step of 3 phases to really get that AI support into your app so that you can send all the content you want to send. And this can kind of support and kind of take some of that mental overhead off of like, I have to write the same thing over and over and over again, right? So this will do a lot of that for you. Super cool. It's specific to Manatech. I love calling it the Manatech brain because that's kind of what it is. Ben, I don't know how many documents you've thrown in here, but
it's got everything on product. It's got everything that we think is relevant for opportunity, whether it's the customer referral program, loyalty program, compensation plan. So it is pretty smart. It is pretty fantastic for making it easy to customize a message for your potential prospect or customer.
Yeah, it's super cool. You can even specify, make sure you say, hey, I'm sending an email, or I'm sending a text, or I'm creating a social media post, and it will actually, it knows enough to kind of help frame and structure those sentences in a way that your message feels organic in any of those kind of videos.
Just checking. I refreshed the screen to see if the alert had come through yet.
I'm realizing, I think this is part of the legacy account because we weren't
Oh,
getting
okay. So
alerts
it's still,
or events.
okay. It won't pull in an event. Okay.
But I can tell everyone a funny story real quick. Months ago, when Ben and I were doing our initial testing, I added my uncle and his actual contact information into the app, and I never took him out. And our dev groups sent him about 40 pieces of content last week. And I received about 60 notifications that he had opened and completed the viewing of many of the videos. So when I see him in about 2 weeks, it'll be a really amusing conversation, because I never actually told him I added him to the app. But what else? We covered email sharing. Do we want to cover text sharing? It's effectively the same route. Just like we mentioned with email, whenever you choose to share something via text, it will take all that content and then throw it back into your standard device's text mechanism. So again, you're sending it from your phone number. It's the number people know you by. It's the number you've already been contacting them with. You're not using a Manatech business number. You're not using one of our Nowtech business numbers. You keep that personal connection. It will show up as a message from you, however they have you saved in your phone. That's the advantage of effectively using this library, this media library, as the bookcase, and then we take that book off the shelf and we throw it into the standard communication pathway so that people know exactly who is sending them stuff. We never want to create the confusion of like, well, I just got this thing from a generic Manatech phone number. Nope, it comes from Ben. It comes from Preston. It comes from Lisa or Mark or anyone, right?
Did you have your phone pulled up so you could share the text pathway, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me, I'm gonna
I can
mute
also try and
myself
see if I can get my
here.
phone to connect.
All right.
Uh-oh.
How about now? I'm in here as two completely different people, so I'm having to manage it. Okay, so now I want to
Share screen.
there.
And oh, I was going to say we have you sharing screen.
Yeah, stop share.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I'm gonna pull up our test account credentials real quick. That's this morning. Kept me out. I want to share just my screen. All right, everybody should see my screen. I'm going to go to Manatech. I'm going to enter my demo account. If no, the Zoom overlay. There we go. I did this earlier this morning, Ben, I promise. I didn't want to make everybody watch me log in, but I got
kidding. It's okay. All good.
Oh, so this is the more normal view, since we were in one of the other accounts. This is a standard account. Everyone should see something like this, both on the browser and in your device. Again, if you're using a tablet, I would recommend that browser login that Ben just did, because this structure is meant to always be portrait. So if I turn my phone landscape, it doesn't currently dynamically adjust. So if you prefer it that way, browser is going to be the best experience. So you can see I've got some campaigns, I've got media, I've got my contacts, I've got events. Here are my alerts. So you can see I had a follow-up alert. We're going to stick with media here. So I'm going to go in and share the core 4 with an individual. I'm going to choose an existing prospect. We'll choose Alejandro. Do I have a phone number? Oh, I don't. Well, you know what? We're going to send more things to my uncle. One day, I will tell him what all of this is. So I'm going to text him this content. It's going to say, hey, here's what you're going to send him. Here's your message preview. When I hit share, it's going to pop me back into my device's standard text messaging. I'm on an Android, so it's going to pop me over to that. It's going to say, hey, you may incur some stuff. That's just standard. You can click that. And then you've got the your text here. So I can come in and type, hi, Alan. I'm testing a new app. Sorry to keep bothering you. But here's the link. Click it. We'll see if he actually clicks this. I think this is actually his old business phone. Somebody was clicking stuff. So. Oh, you know what? I suppose I should tell him just in case, because this is also a different phone. So if he happens to respond, we'll get an alert. And let's say I'm in here, I want to share a different thing. I want to share Ambertos. Ben, I think I have your actual number in here. I don't. So this is a good example. So I want to add someone from my device. I'm going to click from device contacts. First time you're going to say, you're going to have to give it permission, right? I'll allow it access. Now we're going to find Ben. I've added him. Now I'm going to text him this. Oh, it's going to say you haven't confirmed. Ben is aware that I'm sending him stuff. Here's what I'm sending him. I'm going to click share. We're going to call this test. So now Ben should get this shortly. And when I go back to my app, these are all old events, old reminders here. But here in a little bit, whoops. Ben, if you'll tell me whenever you click on.
I've clicked it now.
All right, there he is. PDF viewed, Ben Mayo. So it tells me right now he just opened up that thing you sent him. So I can either view what he looked at, or I can go check out Ben's contact information. I'm going to do that. I click over here and I can be like, so I can add a quick note, right? Sent Ben Ambertos, but spelled correctly. Follow up later today. And I can click save. And that's just going to save me a quick note. But I can also, if I'm ever curious about what I've sent Ben, I can go to the history and be like, well, I've sent him these things and he viewed them. I also sent him a flyer a couple days ago.
And that was just under history there on the bottom is where he clicked.
Oh, correct. Sorry, I'm moving a little fast. Just shout at me if I'm going too quickly. But this is a nice segue, and I think next week this will be something interesting to go into. Ben, I don't know if you've got a full calendar, but once folks start responding to things, you can and prior even, but you can always organize people in their prospect section by either the contact group or the tag. So let's say that I know that Ben only likes Ambertos. I'm going to create a new tag for Ambertos. And then I'm going to assign him to that. So now in the future, I might have 300, 400, or a couple thousand people in my phone. I can always come in here and I can search by, whoops, did I not assign it?
Can you tell us how you're clicking to get to there?
Oh, sorry, that's the little funnel up here in the top right.
Okay.
So this will allow you to sort your full list or filter by classifications here or any tags you've created. So I think I forgot to hit save, which is not helpful. Oh, I accidentally. Let's do that. Well, looks like I may have just found a little bug, but that's okay. So you'll be able to organize and sort things by tags. You can also sort by any of these classifications here. So if I want to change Ben from warm to hot because he responded and said he's interested in it, I can update his status. It's going to tell me he's been updated. And then I will always be able to go back up here to my filters and sort by everyone who has that particular status. There's Ben. You'll also notice at the top, I've got various groups. So I've got a sample group. I've got a Friday poker group. I can always create a new group. Whenever you do, it will require you to put at least one new person in there. But it's just a quick way to slice and dice all of your people, not quite focusing on the sharing that we did. But since we were here, I wanted to kind of show that as a quick preview. And then we can go deeper into detail next week. That'll also give me time to go get that tag fixed and get some more people in here. We'll make this look a little more lively in the demo app. It might have been. Let's see here. I think, well, it should let me just assign it when I go back. It shows me that he's assigned. I should be able to search by any tag that I've created. So I've got that S. Oh, there we go. Maybe it was just taking a while to load because I'm in the demo. Okay, so I've filtered for the Amber Toast tag. Ideally, I'd want to spell that correctly, but you can create any tags you would like and filter and sort and organize by those things. You'll see over here on the far right next to Ben's name that I've got that little tag symbol that shows me that he has been tagged with a couple of categories. And that little alarm bell, if I click it, will let me select just kind of a quick reminder. Let's say I told Ben I'd check in with him on Friday. So I want to do that. I'm just going to choose 4:30. And then that way I've scheduled a reminder for Ben at 4:30. It's going to say, hey, reminder to check in with Ben. So there's a whole bunch of stuff we can do here. This is worthy of its own kind of session, probably one or two, or probably a few. But there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do to keep your contacts as they become more and more voluminous, a little more organized and structured.
There is a question. Can you pre-write a message and save it in the platform?
Presently, the only place that you can save text is going to be in notes for individual people. All of those pre-built messages that are saved are done at the corporate level. So right now, no. Some of our summer features will allow everyone to have more kind of personal and saved items. They will also allow Ben and corporate to have more group-specific, role-specific stuff too. We are getting better at slicing and dicing and giving you more autonomy and options there.
That's good. And then if you're on an Apple computer, if you hit text on the desktop platform, will it allow you to text from your desktop?
It should. That's
Okay.
one thing that I'm going to have to go back and test with folks.
Okay.
I am not an Apple user.
Same, and that's why I didn't know if the feature was set up. I know you cannot do it with a PC, but I would think that is an option. So that was just one of the questions in the chat.
Gotcha. So yes, let me write that down real quick.
And then Christy has a question about adding your own content. Currently, you are unable to add your own content. We are reviewing a method to be able to permit that. There is compliance around concerns around that. And so it's not open today. It is something that we will see how we allow that. We've learned from experiences in allowing it earlier, and it works fantastic, but just we're going to look at a different way to be able to make sure that the content that's shared through the app is compliant. So not yet, but in the future, that would be the answer to that question. So where does the reminder appear in the app?
The reminder I just set for Ben will show up in two places. It will show up down here in my standard alerts. This is where all of your alerts will funnel, but it will also show up in my right up here at the top, my most recent alert follow-up reminder. This was another one I scheduled with Alejandra, but you'll get those. Your most immediate alert will show up there. And then here in a few more weeks, there will be a new section that falls down here in cards, which you can come in and organize to the order you would like. but there will be a new section called My Day, and that is where all of your follow-up reminders and other actions will fall. So again, we're rolling kind of features out over these next couple of months. The big ones are managing prospects through your contacts, prospects, and customers through your contact section, and media. And then we're building upon that. You'll see we've already got some of the campaigns built in. I've set mine to Spanish, but I've got both Spanish and English. There we go. And then I've got events. Ben's put a couple of events in here. Events are nice. They're both corporate's ability to communicate events with you all as associates, and that's your ability to schedule your own events with customers that you may see regularly. If you want to do something personal, kind of meet them for coffee, you can schedule your own event through here.
Perfect. And
I know I'm trying not to keep rambling. As we go to features, just let me know whenever I need to shut up, and we.
I'll just run through a couple more questions, Joellen. I'll reach out to you after this call. We'll see if it sounds like we just need to work on making sure you have the right password. And then a question in regards to importing your contacts from RapidFunnel. First and foremost, once you know, you do not need to turn off your RapidFunnel if you like it. We're happy to encourage you to stay there. But if you choose to export, I know I personally I don't use the RapidFunnel app in my usage, so I had to go through their FAQs, and that they do have a method for learning how to export to a CSV. A CSV file is what you would want to use to import into the Nowtech app. You'll want to do that on the desktop platform, not on the mobile platform, but you'll export a CSV file and then import that in through the desktop portion of Nowtech. And then a question on, can you share events from this page? Can you, I believe that would mean, can you share? Yeah, go ahead, thanks.
So for corporate scheduled events, that is a corporate setting that they'll choose whether or not it's shareable. For your personal events, you can create one. I'm going to just do test here. Description, test. Category, I'm just going to call this a conference call so I don't have to put in all of my address stuff. Oh, I do. Suppose you need a phone number for a conference call. And then it's going to ask you if you'd like to send invitations. So you can then, from right here, the second it's been created, click yes, and it's going to say, who all would you like to send it to? And you can go to device contacts again, and you can add more people, or you can use existing prospects. It's going to tell you if they've been invited or not. So if you create it today, invite 3 people, and you go back to it tomorrow, invite 2 more people, it's going to send you an update, or it's going to show you who has been invited, who hasn't, and it will update as people RSVP. Or you can add somebody as new, just like we went over earlier.
And I think I gave an answer to a question that really wasn't asked. The question was, is a help desk request was sent, who should they anticipate seeing the reply come from?
Oh, the reply will come from a help@Nowtech or an individual user. It'll come from a Nowtech email if you sent it through our
Get help. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully that helps answer that question. We've run 10 minutes over, which is not a problem, but we appreciate you all staying in there with us. If hopefully this has been valuable information. We'll continue to add to the courses section that is located at manatechtraining.com. If you go to that website, either through your back office or you just type in manatechtraining.com, courses is where we'll have more and more information on how to do what you saw today. And you also can request information on if you're getting caught up in being able to use the app, feel free to reach out to marketing@manatech.com. We will certainly be able to create courses to help answer those questions and reply back to let you know when that course has been recorded. So I think that's everything for today. Unless anybody wants to ask one last question before we head out, anything? All right. So we'll see you this time next week at 11:30s on Tuesdays. We're just going to keep this time and keep this same Zoom login, and we'll see you then. Thank you all for joining.
Sounds great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.